Hi there. So today I am gonna be out here planting a couple of plants that were gifted to me by my Aunt Mary. And my Aunt Mary is my dad's one and only sister. And she's amazing. My sister and I grew up with her. Hi Aunt Mary, if you're watching. My sister and I grew up with her, and my Aunt Mary taught us so many things growing up. We'd spend lots of time with her when we were super little, and we had the best time playing dress up with her. She had all kinds of cool clothes that we'd dress up in, and we'd go over to her house and watch John Candy movies. Uncle Buck, that was our favorite one. And she taught us every song that the Judds ever wrote and sang. we could sing you every word of every song of the Judds because of my Aunt Mary. Paula Abdul, I remember listening to Straight Up Now Tell Me, Do You Really Want to Love Me Forever? Oh, oh, oh. With my Aunt Mary. And when she started dating my Uncle Kurt, I remember one time we were playing hide and seek. They're so much fun. They're like the aunt and uncle that just like never grew up in a good way. Like they always played with you. They were never too old to like play hide and seek or tag or go swimming with you or whatever. Like they were always like that aunt and uncle who just always had tons of fun with the little kids, and little kids remember that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, I remember one time we were playing hide and seek, and my Uncle Kurt, he found me and he scared me so much that I peed my pants. So maybe that's TMI, but it's just something I always remember. But anyway, that was a fun little trip through memory lane. My Aunt Mary is actually, and Uncle Kurt, they're actually the ones that told me about a sum and substance hosta. I seen one of them. In fact, let me go up, I'll show you. I seen one of them when I went to visit them one day at their house. And I said, there was like this kind of, I don't know, part sun garden maybe. I could be wrong on that. Looked like it got quite a bit of sun from where I was seeing it at the time. And it was this massive, gorgeous hosta. And I said, what is that? And she said, that's a sum and substance hosta. I was like, I need to have that hosta in my garden. So literally the next, I don't know, within a week, my husband and I went out and we found a sum and substance hosta. And I can't remember if I got one or three. I probably got three of them because knowing me, I usually buy plants in groups of 3 to start with. But I could have only got one. Anyway, I got 1 or 3 and I've been splitting on it ever since. So anyway, I'm grateful to her for that because that's probably, if I had to guess, and this is a very, very, very hard thing to say out loud, but because I love all my plants, but if I had to pick one hosta as my favorite, that would be my favorite hosta, sum and substance, out of all the and I'm like obsessed with hosta, so that's very hard for me to say that, but I said it. I said what I said. Anyway, we're here today because of my Aunt Mary, and she bought me 2 plants. They're the same plant. She bought me 2 of them, and they're called a Quince. This is a double take peach quince, and I don't know, it didn't come with a tag. I think she dropped them off at my sister's house, and I think my sister may have misplaced the tag. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because it's written there on the side of the pot. It's kind of blurry, but it says double take peach. I looked it up on the internet and it's beautiful. I love the foliage on it. It just has these precious little tiny leaves on it, and it blooms. I'll throw a picture on there, but it almost kind of reminded me of like a rose, kind of. I don't know. Could be identifying the bloom a little bit weird because I've never seen it in person, but from the picture, it almost reminds me of a little bit of a rose, or like a rose of Sharon or something like that. But anyway, it blooms peach. It says at full maturity it gets 5 feet tall and wide. It's a spring bloomer, which is awesome. It blooms for quite some time. It blooms on old wood, so if I did want to prune this, I would have to prune it back right after it's done blooming because it will start to set buds for that following year. But it did say on the Proven Winner website that you don't necessarily have to prune it. It's just like if you feel like you need to or whatever. So I'm really excited to get these in the ground. They do take full sun, so I think I'm gonna go put them up in my new full sun garden and see how they do out there. But anyway, let me grab my shovel and we'll get these things planted. I'm up here in my full sun area and I'm trying to imagine where these might look good. I'm thinking towards the back of this bed. At full maturity, they do get 5 feet tall and wide. I'm thinking it might perform kind of like my Weigela bush, and if it gets bigger than I want, I can just use pruning to keep it at the size I need it. But I'm thinking, so that hydrangea there gets, I think it said 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. So I think I could put it maybe back in this area. There's quite a lot of room back here. So I could put one there, and then, let's see, maybe come down here. And I've got quite a lot of space right in there. That hydrangea only gets, oh man, I think it said like 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. And we can put that other quince right there. I think that might be a good spot. Yeah, because down there I have that lemony lace elderberry, and that thing is supposed to get pretty big. So I think that'll be good. We'll do one there and then one down there. I am pretty excited about this. Number one, because it's from my Aunt Mary. Number two, because it was free. And number three, because this is not something that I knew about. This is a completely different plant than I've ever seen before. I've had no knowledge of this plant until she texted me and was like, I bought you a plant and it's a quince or whatever. And I was like, quince? It was so fun because I got to Google quince on the internet and, you know, learn about a new plant, which is awesome. And there's a rock. So yeah, I'm just gonna get these in the ground and see how they do. Another cool thing that it said on the internet about these was that they have the potential to rebloom again in the fall. So they might kind of remind me, like I said, of my Weigela bushes. If I don't cut them back right after they bloom, they usually rebloom again. So I'm really excited about that. That's always a bonus. And I feel like the foliage is really neat too. It's just like a different type of foliage. So they are deciduous, so it will go dormant in the winter and lose all of its foliage, which is completely fine. I'm going to throw some fertilizer in here, which I forgot to grab, so I'm going to go get that really quick, and I'll be right back. I do have to say, some real life gardening here. A couple of my plants, speaking of real life gardening, don't mind my $15 selfie stick that I filmed these movies on. Let's try it again. A couple of my plants, I see like my coneflowers are struggling a little bit. The soil in this area is unlike any other soil in my garden, and it's very, very clayey and also low. And it holds moisture and kind of like not in a good way. So I've got a couple of plants that are struggling a little bit. When I push the mulch away and look at the moisture in the ground there, the soil, it's very, very wet and clayey. So I'm kind of like, you know, giving them a chance. They're not dead, which is good. But I'm keeping an eye on them, and I might try to figure something out to create some better drainage under there, like amend my soil, which I've never had to do in my garden. So if any of you have suggestions on how to amend soil that is super clayey and retains moisture in an unwanted way, please let me know. I'd love to know your suggestions, because I've never dealt with anything like this before. Like I said, I have pretty good soil in my entire garden, and I really don't even like fertilize most of the time. I fertilize once usually when I make a first planting into the ground, and then if I see a plant struggling, I might throw some more fertilizer on it at some point in its life. But I've been blessed with some pretty decent soil, so I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm keeping an eye on them. But if you guys have any suggestions on how to make my plants perform in poor draining clay soil, I'm all ears. Let's go plant this other quince. You're so cute. Oh look, I bet you it's gonna have really cool fall color. You see that tip there? It's orange. I'll have to look that up. All right, so the next one is gonna be planted right in that area right there. This little spot right here, and you can see like I pulled this away. Oh my word, this is so wet. It's so wet. So we'll see how these do. I think all the plants in here are doing fairly well, besides my coneflower, and then also honestly my delphinium, they're not looking the hottest. So we might have to rethink that situation and only plant like really moisture loving plants out here and see how it goes. Or I might just have to dig off all the plants and amend the soil where they're at and see. Like I'm not even going to water this because it's pretty wet. A little bit here. Another cool thing about this plant that I read on the internet was they're thornless. So I've never had any experience with this plant in the past. I'm going to plant this up a little bit. But it sounds like maybe the older versions of this plant have thorns on them, and this one does not. So that's pretty cool. All right. So my Aunt Mary, her name is actually Mary Beth. So I'm going to name this one Mary, and that one Beth. Mary and Beth. All right, that was pretty easy. Thanks again, Aunt Mary, for those 2 quince plants. I'm very excited about them. Excited to see what they do in the spring, and also hoping that they might even rebloom in the fall. We will see, especially for the first few years, because I probably won't prune too much on them the first few years. So that wasn't too much of a big task, and we've got lots of extra time, so I thought maybe I would take you around and just show you a few of the things that are blooming right now in the garden. So if you came for the quince and you wanted to see that get planted, thank you so much for watching. If you want to stick around with me, I'll take you around my garden. You are welcome to come along with me from here on out and see the different things that are blooming. So let's go. I think right now my favorite view is this view right here. You can see so many different colors. So we've got like the lamb's ear here with my blue salvia and snapdragons. Then my cleome is starting to bloom. I've got this like purplish maroon color with a hibiscus, and then the hints of red popping through with that oh so easy rose, and then this beautiful dappled willow tree here. And then of course just like the lush green grass is an amazing place to rest your eye. Then my coneflower are going crazy this year. I am just really loving how they are spreading. I have let them spread over the past several years and let them do their thing, and I'm just really loving how they're naturalizing in my garden this year. But there's so many great colors going on. This is the Chantilly snapdragon, and we grew these from seed. Well, I say we, but basically my brother-in-law and my sister grew them. And through here I've got some blue salvia in here with pockets of impatiens growing, and I'm just really pleased with how everything is looking right now. These are my cleome. These reseed themselves year after year, They are just the coolest, neatest looking little flower. I love them so much, and they do have tiny little thorns on them, but they're pretty insignificant. But I just love how you can see like the vibrant red big begonia in the back there with my Annabelle hydrangea, and then just all the great color that's going on here in July. So here's a little patch of coneflower, and these 3 coneflower were this variety. Oh, look at him. Nope. These 3 coneflower were this variety right here, and I can't remember off the top of my head right now what this is, but they are reverting to a different color, and this I kind of don't mind it. It actually is pretty cool. This looks like it's reverting back to the regular purple coneflower. And this one I'm not even sure what's going on, but it's beautiful. My Shasta Daisy May are still blooming. Let's see, over in here I just planted some different annuals, some impatiens. Let's see, my Rebecchias are starting to bloom here soon. But yeah, these coneflower in here are just looking really beautiful. And I had one plant in here, and they keep reseeding themselves, and they come back different colors, which is pretty cool. These blue salvia, these are just Victoria blue salvia, and they came back. I planted them last year, and these are the ones I planted this year. So I'm hoping that all of these come back just as big and beautiful as these did this year. Uh-oh, we're getting the Japanese beetles, guys. I usually just flick them when I see them because there's usually not a ton of them. But look at that one. Ugh. So yeah, they're super pretty. I love these coneflower here. These are called the Price is White. The Price is White coneflower. And look at how big that bloom is. I think that's a really big size bloom for a coneflower. And then that middle part, I love how it just mounds up like that. Like it's got a really nice big mound on it. It's so pretty. These are wee white hydrangea. You guys were asking me about these. I showed these the other day. These are a beautiful little plant. They stay super compact. If you like Annabelle or Invincible or that type of flower, these are great for a small space. So this is about as big as they get. I'll correct it if I'm wrong. I'll look it up, but I would say like maybe 2 to 3 feet or less. So they're super cute, and these get probably at least 6 hours of sun every day. Let's see, more coneflower that just keeps reseeding itself in here. It's really amazing. I let it just do its thing. A lot of my hosta are in full bloom right now, and I know it's not a popular thing, but I love a good hosta bloom. I just think it's so pretty and neat looking. I do come in and cut them off when they're done blooming, but I just let them do their thing. But it's looking pretty good. Let's see if we can find something else that's blooming. Oh yeah, my astilbe I planted last fall. I've had these plants for, gosh, I don't even know, probably 6-7 years. And they've struggled every year, and I finally got around to transplanting them, and this is the best they've ever looked. They love it in this spot right here. I've got another astilbe over here. This is called a finale astilbe, and it's got really vibrant red color to it. I love that one. I have another one up there, but it's in all those hosta, you can't really see it. Oh, my blue mouse ear hosta is blooming. These are such a cute little hosta. I love them so much. I've been really loving the simplicity of this garden bed this year. Normally I put in, I usually put in impatiens, but last year I put in like a bunch of different colors and it was beautiful, but I just really love the simplicity of the hosta and the red impatiens this year. Alright, I cannot forget about my Wrinkle in Time hosta. These are starting to bloom and they're so pretty. I just love this little hosta so much. So dainty and delicate looking, and it stays really short and compact. It's such a great plant for the front of a garden like this, and it adds so much color and texture. Like, look at all the movement that's going on in those leaves and all the color, even without the bloom. And then you get this beautiful bloom on top of it. Man, it just provides so much color, pattern, texture, and a little bit of shine with the variegation on the edge of the leaves. Some of you have probably heard me say this before, but I used to love the show What Not to Wear. I was going to say Trading Spaces, but I love that one too. But I used to love the show What Not to Wear, and on that show there was a lady named Stacy London, and she was a riot. I loved her so much, and she always said to make the perfect outfit you got to have color, pattern, texture, and shine. And I couldn't really be bothered about having the perfect outfit, but I love to kind of take that whole mindset and apply it to my garden. In every single area, I'm like, can my eye see different colors, different patterns, different textures, and different things that make it pop and shine? So that's what I like to do in my garden. And there are some plants that kind of give you all four, which is amazing. And I think this little Wrinkle in Time is one of those plants. This is my kind of dump bed, I call it, where I just throw plants until I have a permanent space for it. But this hydrangea right here is blooming. I have no clue what this even is anymore because it's been in here for years and I haven't seen it bloom in years. I kind of actually forgot about it. It just kind of became part of the scenery, but it's blooming and it's so pretty. Let's see. There's some more astobi in here that's throwing on a bloom. And again, this is all stuff that I'm kind of holding until I get all this kind of cleaned out, and I'll probably just go to town on that area with most of this stuff. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and thank you to my Aunt Mary who inspired this movie and got me out in the garden planting something that I've never even heard of before. It's pretty cool. I grew up working in this field, and so I know a lot of plants. I can usually identify the general name of a plant, and so it's so fun when I look at something I'm like, what is that? I have no clue and I must find out. So Quince was one of those plants, and I'm just really excited to have it in my garden now to kind of see how it does, have a little bit of experience with it. So maybe next time we'll plant another couple plants and I'll take you around to some other areas of the garden, show you what's blooming. But for now, we're gonna sign off, and I'm also gonna thank you for hanging out with me, spending your precious moments with me in my garden here in Michigan. So we'll see you guys later. Bye. So this is for you, Aunt Mary.
Some call it country with a little bit of rhythm and blues. When the boys start rocking, there's a beat that you just can't lose. Where it's gonna take us, nobody knows. Sure feels good to the body and soul. I love the slide of the steel guitar. I love the moan of the no blues song. I love the shake of the table. I love the bass when it's flowing. Put on your shouting shoes and turn it loose. just can't stay in your seat. You start knocking and you can't help but stomping your feet. Before you even know it, you'll be singing along. Makes me wanna stay here all night long. I love the slide of the steel guitar. I love the moan of an old blues heart. I love the shake of the timbre. I love the bass when it's blowing me. Put all your shout and shoot and turn and loop. I love the slide